You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 145.
So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us.
Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to the So Now What podcast. I feel so grateful to have you here with me to listen in on another episode of the podcast. I'm going to talk about something today that I think you're really going to resonate with, something that maybe you've never really talked about out loud, because it is a sensitive thing to experience and something that you might carry a lot of shame for interpreting this scenario or this circumstance the way that you do. But I recently experienced this, and it got me to thinking about how many of us navigate life after infertility in silence and have these things that come up for us, and we don't have a place to talk about them, or maybe don't have the words to share what it is that we're really feeling, or we want to close off our thoughts about it because we carry a lot of shame and embarrassment that we interpret things the way that we are. This might resonate with you, especially if you've ever felt pressure to prove your worth in a world that always seems to value possessions over who you truly are. I really want to dive into this topic together. So this is how it all started out. Last week, I was walking. I live in Chicago. I live in a big city, so do a lot of walking, sidewalks, all that good stuff. I was walking when I passed a group of people gathered in a circle. And in the midst of that circle was a mother holding a beautiful baby, maybe, I don't know, a couple months old. And everyone was admiring her little one, commenting on how cute and how precious the baby was. And the mother was just glowing with pride. Everyone was doting over the child. And in that moment, I felt this familiar pang, and you might know what it feels like too, when you have that realization that you won't ever have that. You won't ever be able to experience that. And the moment where everyone circles around and they're oohing and eyeing and admiring this child, and you know that you are never going to have that. We live in this society that consistently tells us that we need to have something in order to be valued. And whether that's a child, a degree, a certain level of job, a certain body type, financial security, there's this unspoken rule that we need to possess something in order to be admired. And I wonder if you've ever felt that pressure too. Maybe you found yourself thinking, if I just had this, then I will feel worthy, or people will see me as worthy. I know that I have. And what happens when the thing we long for most, a child, right, never comes? Does that mean that we're forever less than? Does that mean we don't get to feel admired or acknowledged or worthy? The world makes us sometimes feel as though we need to keep acquiring or keep achieving to prove or deserve the attention and love that is owed to us. But here's the truth, and I want to share this with you today, that relying on these external things, whether it's a baby, whether it's a job title, financial success, physical appearance, the neighborhood or subdivision in which you live, only takes you further away from yourself. It diverts your attention from the person who really needs you to love and admire you, and that's you. So think about it. Always striving to add something to your life just to feel valuable leaves you feeling like you're never enough. It gets exhausting. You might feel like you're always chasing this next thing that you're hoping will finally make you feel as though you're worthy of love and attention. But what if you didn't need to chase anymore? What if instead of looking outside for something to make you feel whole, you turned inward and you realize that you have it all? You are enough just the way that you are. What if you could become your own center of admiration? What if you didn't need anyone or anything to prove your value? And imagine how feeling that secure or an admiration of yourself would allow you to stand in your own truth and really know that you are enough just the way that you are. You've already gone through so much and you are still here. That itself is worth admiration. So you don't need to keep adding more to your life to prove you're worthy or to love a connection to something. You just took a moment to admire yourself for who you are right now. No more degrees, no new job title, no baby, just you. And what if that was enough? And I know it may seem like, yeah, but that is what helps me feel as though I'm connected in society. But according to whose rules? If we're always attaching what we feel worthy of within ourselves to rules of somebody or acquisitions of truth that somebody else has created or these societal norms that somebody else has paved a path years and centuries before us, we're never able to stand in our truth. And I know for me, my thing was having the most beautiful things. And if you've listened to the podcast for a long time, there was a podcast episode I talked about where I would go shopping. I made the money, I had the financial means. It wasn't like I was adding up credit card debt, but there was this thing that made me feel so powerful and so worthy that I could go and drop some amount of dollars on a designer handbag on a random Tuesday or walk out of Nordstrom with my hands full of shopping bags. And that was what gave me my validity and my worthiness that I had the money to do these types of things. And I realized it became exhausting because I'd look at those things in my closet and yeah, I love them. And yeah, I still have some of those things in my closet, but it wasn't what was creating my worth. I was constantly needing to go into this next shopping spree or this next spending spree in order to feel like I had made it in the world and that I had a career big enough and a bank account deep enough to be able to afford these things without blinking an eye. And it becomes exhausting. And I think that we do it because we don't know how to look at ourselves and be happy with who we are and who we are becoming, even though it's so different than we imagine where we'd be. And so when you think about that group of people surrounding a child and making do over the child, I think about that mom. And I'm sure that she has so much to be proud of and so much that she's done. But having the child in her arms isn't the only thing that creates her worthiness. So I want to leave you with this today, that you are enough and you always, always have been. You always will be. And the next time you find yourself thinking that you need someone else, something else, an accessory, an addition to you to feel valued, I invite you to pause and ask yourself, what if I already am enough just as I am? So thank you for joining me today. I hope this reflection and this experience that I recently had reminds you of your inherent worth. And if this episode spoke with you or spoke to you, please share it with someone who you think might need to hear the message. And also, I want to tell you that I am working on a special thing just for you if you are dreading the holidays. I'll be getting more details to you about it, but I'm going to be doing a free masterclass about how to handle the holidays. So be on the lookout for more information. If you get my love letters, if you are on my mailing list, I will be sharing more information there, or I'm sure I'll be sharing more on Instagram. So make sure that you are following me at Lana.Manikowski. It will be in the show notes if you want to follow me on Instagram. Also, a link to subscribe to my newsletters, also known as my love letters. So you can be sure that you take part of this amazing masterclass that I am doing about handling the holidays and feeling like you can manage things amongst your family and continue to build on the traditions that you thought were only possible to celebrate and acknowledge if you had a child. So I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful week. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week.
Hey, real quick, I just want to tell you about an awesome resource I created. If you have ever found yourself in conversations with people, or maybe people offering you suggestions about what you should do to become a mom, it's called The Top 27 Things People Say When You're Childless and How to Respond. You can get your copy free at lanamanikowski.com/thingspeoplesay.